Alright guys, so yesterday I gave you guys an overview of my only rares and below account. So today I'm gonna discuss a little bit some points of friction I'm gonna find in the game, some issues I may have, I already know that, and is that possible to change? What's up guys, this is your boy Rusian with another Raid Shadow Legends video. So we're back in the only rares and below account. So let's take a quick look some of the points that I feel gonna be major issues in the game, and also there are points that I'm gonna try to change, right? One of the things I have to remind you guys is that Raid is always evolving. What it means, today I may not be able to complete a certain area of the game as the game is, but tomorrow we may have a fusion that gives me a rare champion that can completely change my game. Okay, disclaimer, right? All right, so what are the points that I gonna have a bit of an issue? One of them I found as of right now is pretty much resources, right? So because I'm using 3 stars and below champions, for me to be able to get a champion 6-star, it's a lot more complicated, okay? If you want to become a part of my squad in Raid, click on my link in the description right now and get a free legendary Karato as well as 4 epics as you level up. Let me show you how. Log out of Player in Play on PC and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. That's all you need to do to get a free Karato as well as Uugo, Rector Drath, Tagoar, and Mausoleum Mage as you level up. Don't miss out and click on my link right now. Basically because I need so many more champions to feed into, my main champion that it just becomes more complicated. If I start with like Karato, for example, he's already 5-star, so now I only need 5-star chickens. For me to be able to get Ato, for example, I need 3-star chickens, then a bunch of 4-star chickens, and then 5-star chickens. And now, I'm not talking about just one champion, I'm talking about every single one of my champions, okay? So this is one of the major issues. Second is, at the same time, I cannot, pretty much, at least at this point of the game, use any of my rares to feed. Like, points I could basically build, my main team and then worry about the other ones, but I need to really start looking at what champions can help me in a different area of the game that maybe that's the only use they have. Let me say, a champion that on Spider, I have to have that champion, but pretty much in any other area, it's just worthless, okay? So this is one of the main issues, so all my chickens have to come from uncommon champions, okay? What is an issue takes a lot longer and also takes a lot more resources to be able to get to this point. Now, one of the ways that I'm finding to actually remediate that issue is every time I come to the market, and that's something I do very often in new accounts, doesn't matter if that's only rares or whatever, and it's coming here and buy every single uncommon champion I can, because trust me, you will run out of them. Doesn't matter if you're getting a bunch of mystery shards, at some point you're gonna realize you don't have enough. So I do take a lot of advantage of the market, okay? Second thing, because it's only rares account, I do not take advantage of 2x events. If they are on, great, because they may give me chicken. Because if you guys see here, and that's one of my focus points right now, when we look down here on champion vaults, Wukong, for example, and that new champion that I can't remember the name, they gonna be food as of right now, okay? Same thing gonna go with some of those epic champions. Some of them, it's almost sad to do, but I'm gonna have to use Franklin the Fat as food. I'm gonna have to use Allure and all the others. And basically that's just so I can save some resources in some other areas. Another thing you guys gonna be noticing, I have right now over 1100 gems. Usually I would have chosen my second champion to get masteries, but because the way the account is, that cannot be my focus. So those gems, as of right now, I'm gonna do what I usually would do on my third set of 800 gems, and I'm gonna be starting to use them as energy. So I can actually get Ato to 6-star, so I can start moving on on dungeons because I will need to gear those champions right now. Those should not be with a 3-star if I can avoid, because it's hindering her damage. So this is where I'm trying to focus right now, okay? Now, let's look at the points where I feel I'm gonna have a lot of friction in the game, and let's start with clan boss. Now, it is very possible to get all the way to Brutal 1 key. Not easy, but possible for you to be able to 1 key the clan boss with only rares and below, okay? Not an easy feat. It's probably gonna take maybe even a couple of months, because I'm gonna need the right gear, I'm gonna need a lot of things, okay? Right speeds. So possible. Nightmare gonna become a little bit more complicated to do, okay? Now, if I can at least 2 key Nightmare, I feel that's probably the best place the account gonna be, at least in 6 months. I do know that you may ask some other content creators, and they may be able to whip out like a rare team that can easily do Nightmare, but you have to remember, it takes gear, and a lot of times that gear gonna be gear that will be impossible for me to get with this account. Why? Because a lot of this gear gonna be coming from the hard dungeons, okay? Another areas, Chimera, for example, I don't know how far I'm gonna be able to get with only rare champions, only because some of the smackdowns and everything just gonna be very hard. Same thing gonna go with Hydra. Don't think gonna be impossible to be able to 1 key certain, something like easy, maybe even normal mode, but past that, it may start getting a little bit complicated. Now let's go down to campaign really quick. Campaign, on my main account, I was able to actually get all the way to Nightmare with Elhain and War Priest. So not saying gonna be easy, it was actually hard for me to do, but I was able to get 3 stars all the way. Now, in part, let's be honest, there's only certain points I would care so much about going, because Sacred Shards, as I told you guys, are only a resource for me to get chickens, okay? So 3-starring everything and spending a lot of my energy on it, it's probably not worth it. I believe the moment I get the last gem, also Nightmare, I really have very, very little use, okay? Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to, but it's something that can be put in the back burner. Now, let's skip to Faction Wars, because dungeons gonna take a little bit longer. Some dungeons I think shouldn't be a problem in hard mode, but we'll get to it. All right, Faction Wars, not impossible. I know of some people that even sure they didn't have some constraints about being only rare champions, but they're able to complete all of this using champions that are 40, level 40 and below. So yeah, I don't think this would be something impossible, okay? But that's the main reason why I'm saving every single rare champion right now, because I'm gonna have to build teams around what I have, and every time I find a champion that may be better in certain situations, I may just sub, maybe even use them as food. So most of my rare champions that I don't have a place right now, I'm gonna get them up to level 40 just so I can get some resources from Faction Wars, and then make choices. If I keep them, are they good in certain areas of the game or not, and then get rid or keep them. Doom Tower, Curse City, I don't feel it's such a problem. There's a lot of rare champions that they're not great, but at least normal, they may be able to clear a good part of it. I don't think I would be able to do Amius with them. Siege, I am actually picking really weak clans that most players don't even play. They're empty clans, because I don't want to affect my clan on that. So I may be able to get a resource from here. There are ways to build really good arena teams with rares, but usually it takes a lot longer than 6 months. Now, I'm not planning fully to get rid of this account after 6 months, but I will have to make decisions when I get to this point to see if there's anywhere I can push the account. Doom Tower, very possible. A lot gonna have to do with the gear I have and speeds to be able to clear some of the areas. I feel some rotations gonna be easier than others, but it's something we're gonna have to try, okay? Now, some secret rooms gonna be impossible because you need epic champions. So yeah, not gonna be able to do, but I should be able to clear a lot of them. I think normal should be pretty much a good point for me to strive. And yeah, I think I could do it. Now let's talk about dungeons, because that's usually the hardest part. So Iron Twins, Sand Devils, and Phantom Shogun. They probably gonna be one of the main issues. Phantom Shogun not as much, because if you guys realize, if you have Awakenings, you can pretty much clear with rare champions or any champions. You just need certain gears and everything, but it's not as much of a problem as Sand Devil, because they're SmackDown. He's SmackDown, okay? Now, when we talk about the other dungeons, I'm not going to cover Potion Keeps, because honestly, you will be able to clear them. Now, Ice Golem, very feasible to actually clear. Dragon's Lair, I do have Petrif, as long as I can build a team that can clear the waves before I get to the dragon. The dragon should not be such a problem on hard. Again, I need to get the right gear at the time. Always remember, as of this point, it's impossible, but I should be able to create a team to go on hard. Don't know how far on hard, but it should be possible. Spider's Den, kind of a little complicated, because some of the control on the spiderlings, even on normal mode, it can be a little bit of an issue. Hard mode, it gonna become more have champions that can do huge smackdowns and be able to actually cause damage on spider by destroying the spiderlings. So this, I don't know when, but I should be able to clear hard at some point. The whole question is, can I control the spiderlings for long enough to be able to cause this? Because as you guys know, rares, when you talk about causing damage by burn, you can't just burn all the spiderlings like some of the epic champions and some of the legendary champions, okay? Now, the biggest constraint, honestly, it's gonna be Fire Knight hard, because while I may be able to climb up to a certain point, let me push it and say even stage 25, the hardest thing is be able to freeze the Fire Knight time enough to reduce his turn meter, okay? So as of right now, unless Raid comes up with certain new champions that has multiple hits with freeze, I think this is probably the place I'm gonna find the hardest to actually clear on hard. Okay, the other dungeons, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do hard, but I should be able to at least get to hard mode and clear a few levels. Now, if I get the right gear through time, it should become not a problem, but it's something that may take some time for us to figure out. Okay, so now the biggest thing is, I think I mentioned the other video, one of the main reasons why I start this account is I learn every time I have constraints to play, like the Hell Hades challenge and everything, you start realizing that sometimes you overlook champions that they have great use. And not trying to put on a bad spot, but I even look at the Hell Hades website and I check some of those champions. A lot of them have like 2-star, and they're pretty much put as they're not good in certain areas of the game. But with the right team, they can actually be very useful. Sometimes may have to do with the gear you're using or anything. So it's a great tool for me, but sometimes you have to think outside the box in a situation like this, okay? I did fight in the arena in the past against teams that are like uncommon champions, and I was bit down to a pulp, okay? Even me having legendary champions. And the end of the day, it had to do with the gear the champion had, how the champs were built. Okay, so there are many ways to pluck a duck, and we're gonna try to find how to do it with only rares and below in this account. So I just want to let you guys know what direction I'm pointing this account, what's my plan right now of what I'm planning to do, okay? Yeah, leave me your opinions and comments on, leave me your suggestions on the comments below, okay guys? I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever done something like that? Because that's a brand new thing for me. I'll try to use the experience I got 3 years in the game and through challenges and everything, and see how we do. All right, thank you guys for being here, and as always, I'll see you in the game.